of the week that has passed and all of the confusion and disorientation that came with it. Anxiety of everything that isn't serving your wholeness and your sense of peace. And slow. You can close your eyes and feel just waves of energy that are connecting us. Waves of energy that we can't see but that hold us together. Community, Shalom, and as our wider orbit, welcome Shabbat. As Klal Yisrael, as the Jewish people, we're bound together, held by invisible string. Imagine that. Just imagine those waves of energy flowing between you and your loved one physically, between all the Jewish, all human beings who dwell on earth in our lifetimes, ever at all, have we known so clearly how interconnected and how really one we are. No matter race. In this current crisis, we are all humans, pathogens. We are all healers for each other. We will get through this only as one. I'm going to invite us to sing the Nigu and the wordless melody of Jethro Berkman is playing beautifully on the guitar frame. Virtually, and it is in a link, in a message that was sent out to the community, but also on our website. Rabbi Schaefer, if you're here, maybe you can also type it in again for those who haven't seen it before, so that you can join with us with the prayer book, but feel free just to close your eyes, hum along, yada-da. You don't necessarily need your book. So I have my tech assistant, my son Gavi, and he may move the camera back and forth so that you can see our instrumentalists. But I do want to thank Rabbi Jethro Berkman, who is playing guitar, and he is right there. And my son Ami, who is playing violin, who is shy, doesn't want to get in the frame, and my son Idan, who is playing guitar. So maybe you can just pick it up and go with that. And put it back. Think about who are our angels of peace. This song, Shalom Aleichem, this beautiful Shabbat song, has us welcoming the angels or messengers of peace. Who are our angels at this time? Angels of peace, of healing, of light, of wonder. How can we be angels for one another? This is on page 24 if you are following along with us in an online Siddur, if you have one at home. We're using Mishkan Tefillah for Shabbat. One more deep breath before we welcome these angels. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharim, Malachei Elyon. Baruch going to light candles. The blessing, if you'd like to follow along with the words, is on page 2 in the prayer books. These will be done. Shalom, everyone. We're going to move into Psalm 96 now, which is on page 13. And if you're not familiar with the words, feel free just to clap, to hum, to yai-da-dai. We'll sing some of Psalm 96, expressing the great wonder of the natural world, which I know I, for one, have been taking more time in nature, and I hope that many of you are doing that as well, as we have a bit more flexibility to our days and many things that we can't do. We certainly can go for a walk outside. And the Kabbalists who put together the Psalms of the Kabbalat Shabbat service certainly were, I think, hoping to cultivate that sense of wonder with these Psalms, expressing wonder at the natural world. So we'll sing Psalm 96. Just be careful because you're in front of the candles. Not without intensity. We're going to sing Lecha Dodi, welcoming Shabbat as a beloved one, a beloved friend, or a bride or a queen, someone someone that you are so happy to see again after a long period of time. Now, I know that already most of us are already longing to see people that we haven't been able to see in person. And that hopefully will give us a new understanding of the kavanah, of the intention behind Lecha Dodi, as we sing together verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. If you're following along in the Siddur, we're on page 12. We're on pages 20 and 21. And we're going to do what we did last week, which is do this to the tune of Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Enei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala. Yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai. so many of our psalms. We'll sing a bit of Psalm 92, the words Magadlu ma'asecha ya me'od amku machshavotecha. These words can be found on page 342 in the prayer book. If you don't have a prayer book or the words are not familiar enough to you, you can sing the part that just goes Hallelujah. It just really reminds us that we can praise the source of all life and blessing no matter what our circumstances are. We can remind ourselves that we are connected. We are connected to the source of all. We are connected to one another. And this psalm and these words simply express that sense of wonder and awe. So we're going to do it as a round. It's hard to do that when you're not here in real life and I can't hear you singing. But I'm going to imagine that I hear some of you singing the words and some of you singing the one Hebrew word that encompasses thank you and praise and gratitude and awe. Hallelujah. So we're going to start with the hallelujahs. Hallelujah. To type in the comments something that brought you a sense of awe and wonder during this very strange week that has passed. Feel free to do that while we move into the punctuation mark, the comma of our service, the Chatzi Kaddish, which is on page 26. And then in a little bit, I'll look at those comments and I know that all of you can see them. So in a way, we're harvesting that awe and wonder that is among our community this evening, just through this virtual platform. So we're on page 26 if you're following along. Yitkadar ve'yitkadash shemei rabba ve'alma divrach chirutei ve'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon u'v'yomechon וחיי דכל בית ישראל בגלה, בגלה, ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמרה במבורך לעולם ולעלמיה יתברך, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה, ויתהלל שמי קודשה בריחו, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, תמירון בעלמה, ויאמרו amen. So I think we are up certainly past a virtual minion. Let's see how many people we have watching. We have 46. That is awesome. So I would like to get us started with Baruch Hu, which is on page 28. Please rise if you're in your homes and able to do that. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Turn to page 30 in the prayer book. ומעביר יום ומביא לילה ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה אדוני צבאות שמו אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד ברוך אתה אדוני המעריב ערבים. I think we're just going to just chant the lines at the bottom of page 32, since we don't want to run over time this evening. ואהבתך תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. Please join for the Shema. Shema Yisrael. Standing, you can be seated. We'll turn now to page 36 for V'ahavta. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levacha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בעם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך, ובשעריך, למען תזכרו, ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני, אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני, אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם. Well, we are about to cross into a new Jewish month, the month of Nisan, which begins this week on Wednesday night, Thursday. And the month of Nisan, of course, holds within it the holiday of Passover. So our holiday of crossing out of that which binds us and constricts us physically and metaphorically and into the wide expanse, that festival is coming. And what an amazing time to think about liberation and redemption, constriction and limitation in a time such as this. So perhaps this evening we sing these words that our ancestors sang at the shores of the Red Sea that had parted for them. They sing, "Who is like you, God? How could we have experienced this miracle?" But of course, the miracle doesn't end there. They need to carry the miracle forward in the way that they set up their society, in the way that they pursue justice and compassion as a people moving forward into their freedom. Not just freedom for its own sake, but freedom in order to be in the world in a certain way and partner with the source of all. So we're going to turn now to Mi Chamocha, which, if you're following along, is on page 40. And I understand we actually have our guest violinist, Ami Berkman, who doesn't want to be seen, but he will be heard. He will be playing along. Yalai, lai, lai, yalalai, yalalai, lai, lai, yalai, lai, lai, lalalai, yalalai, lai, 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 yai, lai, la, lai, 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 yalalai, lai, 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 yai, lai, la, lai, 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 yalalai, lai, 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 mi chamocha, bailim Adonai, mi kamocha, nedar bakodesh, norat hahilot, osef ele, norat hahilot, osef ele, ma'alechutecha, ra'u vanecha, bokei hayam, lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze'eli, ze'eli, anu ve'ameru, Adonai yimnoch le'olam va'ed. Ve'nemar, ki fada Adonai et Yaakov, u'ge'alo miyad chazak mimenu, baruch ata Adonai, kal Yisrael. This week I had the precious opportunity to tuck our preschoolers at the Trust Center into bed virtually, something I've definitely never done before, but in this new time in which we live, I was able to read a story and sing some songs that are connected to Shema al Hamitah, the bedtime Shema, including Hashkivenu, this blessing that we have in our evening liturgy, in which we pray that we lie down in peace and awaken to a new day. And in this same blessing, we pray that God spread over us a canopy of peace. And I want you to close your eyes for a minute and remember a time when you felt so completely held and safe, that there was a canopy of peace surrounding you and everyone you love, and in fact expanded out to everyone you don't even know. And the whole world was blanketed in peace, maybe the same way that snow feels and sounds and smells when we see it blanketing the ground around us. Imagine that you are blanketed, you are embraced, you are safe, you are held. When we can get in touch with that part of us that knows that feeling, when we can get into that heart space, we can hold others within it too. And that is how God spreads over us a canopy of peace. We construct it within ourselves, between one another. And there, in so doing, we encompass the whole world in the same way, really, that these virtual platforms serve to connect us one to the other. Okay, Idan Berkman is going to start us off with Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu
Turn now to the Amidah. The Amidah gives us the opportunity to pray together and silently. If you're joining with me, we'll begin on page 46. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. You can stand up if you haven't been standing already, and if you're able to face east, if you know which direction that is in your home, please do so. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imoteinu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzhak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו ויאהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך הסלע. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. Please take a couple of moments for your own private prayer reflection using the words in the prayer book or the words in your heart. Page 62, we have our prayer for peace. Shalom Rav. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Shalom Rav, to take a moment now to pray for those who are in need of healing. Of course, that takes on a whole new meaning now with a worldwide pandemic. So many people are in need of healing. Healing of body if they are sick with a COVID-19 or anything else. Healing of spirit. So many people have mental health struggles, struggles of spirit, struggles of mind, and this situation certainly exacerbates that. So I hold all of us, all of you, all of our fellow citizens of this world in my heart, knowing that so many are struggling right now. We pray for healing of spirit for those who are getting up and going to work every day on the front lines of caring for patients with this horrible disease. We pray for those who are working tirelessly to find a cure, to create a vaccine. We pray for healing for everyone. And if you want to share a name of someone that you are particularly praying for at this time, you can certainly type their name into the comments, and that way we can hold them in our virtual space. We're going to, as you do that, we're going to turn to page 253 if you're joining us in the book for Debbie Friedman's version of the Mishabera. I'll give you a moment to type the names of those for whom you're praying. I recognize that not every, Ami was trying to show you that Coco is also in our family. She is lying on the floor and not playing an instrument. So I recognize that not every rabbi has the blessing of having another rabbi and a whole band of musicians in their own home. And that is certainly one of the blessings that I am grateful for during this crazy time. And in case you were wondering, if you weren't here last week and you didn't hear me explain, why does the rabbi have a podium in her house? Is she just at the ready to lead a service on Facebook Live at any time? Well, strangely enough, this belonged to my dear father-in-law, Richard Berkman, Dick Berkman, who died 5 years ago, Ohabei Shalom. He had this beautiful, you can't tell how beautiful it is, but it's a beautiful wooden standing desk, and we are fortunate that we've inherited it, and even more fortunate that it gives me my own portable mood podium. So from this Amud, I'm going to share some hopefully brief words of Torah. As one of my friends, who's also a rabbi, said in a video message to his congregation, one great advantage of this time for congregants is that you can pause, mute, fast forward, or simply turn off your rabbi at any time. I will not be offended. If I go on too long, you can just press mute and go on with your night. But I do have some words I'd like to share for those of you who want to hear them. I feel like I'm really far away from everybody, so yeah, I'm not going to move the podium, but, I'm not going to move the podium. So anyway, we'll get this all figured out for next time. So yeah, has it really been a week since the last time we did this Facebook Live Erev Shabbat? Has it been a week? Has it been a few months? Has it been a year? Has it been, 100 years? I think I can speak for all of us when I say, who knows? Time has lost all meaning in its regular form. And we're all disoriented. Our lives are upended. Really, our lives were kind of stopped short. We're sort of thrown into midair, gliding in slow motion, not sure when or where we will land. When do we finally get back to normal life? Eating in restaurants, gathering with friends, going to school, going to work in person. And if we're healthcare workers, when do we go back to the ordinary work of saving lives? When we have enough resources? Will the familiar routines themselves be forever changed? I read an article today on the website Politico called "Coronavirus Will Change the World Permanently. Here's How." I skimmed it, and I think it has some remarkable insights, and I'd actually be curious, maybe people can comment during or after my remarks about changes for the positive that you have seen already in the past week. So no matter how long this period of time lasts or what life will look like on the other end, one thing is certain. We are experiencing a time outside of time. As someone put it recently in a staff meeting, the time-space continuum looks different now. Time feels amorphous. Who even knows what day it is anymore? Our structures and routines have been cast aside, and we're just disoriented trying to create new ones within our new limitations. It truly feels like forever ago that we took for granted the simple possibilities of our everyday lives. This feeling is so beautifully expressed in a poem that's been making the rounds on the internet, so you might have seen it. It was written by a Catholic woman named Laura Kelly Fanucci. She lives in Minnesota, and she writes a syndicated column called Faith at Home, which is published in Catholic newspapers nationwide. She's also the author of 6 books. So I wanted to share this poem with you. When this is over, may we never again take for granted a handshake with a stranger, full shelves at the store, conversations with neighbors, a crowded theater, Friday night out, the taste of communion, a routine checkup, the school rush each morning, coffee with a friend, the stadium roaring, each deep breath, a boring Tuesday, life itself. When this ends, may we find that we have become more like the people we wanted to be. We were called to be. We hoped to be. And may we stay that way better for each other because of the worst. This poem has already been shared tens of thousands of times on social media. So time has this new feeling, and time is something that's really on all of our minds. How long? How long will we have to stay at home, being physically present only with those in our own households? How long do we need to wash our hands for? I think we all know the answer to that. How long is the incubation period of this illness? How long do we have to worry and wonder? Well, as it happens, our tradition is quite full of wisdom about noticing and marking the passage of time, and I think it holds some wisdom for us as we navigate this time outside of time. Each week, of course, As night falls on Friday, or a little bit earlier in our case, we enter into Shabbat, a sacred pause when we step back from the noise and the haste, and we're called to notice the blessings that abound and to simply be with those blessings, not to strive to work, to produce, to consume more, but just to be present to our own souls and to those we love. Perhaps right now is a time when pressing the sacred pause button is more important than ever. Perhaps we can take the time from Friday to Saturday night and make it set apart. That is the meaning of the word kadosh, which we translate as holy, set apart, different in some way. Maybe during Shabbat we can disconnect from the news, let go of the questions, how long and how will we come through this, and all of the other anxieties weighing on our minds and our hearts. And in this time, we can immerse ourselves in that which transcends this moment. What transcends this moment? We think the transcendent and we think God, but art transcends this moment. Art, the wisdom of our tradition. I hope that in this Shabbat time, we might take some time to immerse ourselves in music, in art, in literature, in preparing or eating delicious food, having sustained face-to-face conversation with our loved ones, because after all, the soul of the other is very much something that transcends us, in that it's connected to the source of all souls, the source of all life, the transcendent one. So I hope in this Shabbat, that is itself an island of time, as Rabbi Heschel said, that is also within a time outside of time. I hope that this Shabbat, we will take the time to have those deep connections with the transcendent. That might take the form of a long phone call with someone that you haven't talked to in a while. As Heschel said, that Judaism is a religion of time, aiming at the sanctification of time. Judaism teaches us to be attached to holiness in time, to be attuned to sacred events, to learn how to consecrate sanctuaries that emerge from the magnificent stream of a year. The Sabbaths are our great cathedrals, and our Holy of Holies is a shrine that neither the Romans nor the Germans were able to burn. As it happens, this Shabbat is not just Shabbat, it's a special Shabbat. Not just special because of the weird time we're living in, but it's a Shabbat called Shabbat HaChodesh, which means the Shabbat of the month. This Shabbat precedes the first of the Hebrew month of Nisan. I told you earlier that we're about to be in the month of Nisan, the month that holds within it the festival of Pesach. And amazingly, this special Shabbat has a lot to do with time. The first day of Nisan was the occasion for God's first commandment to the Israelites. Now you may be thinking, I don't remember that the month of Nisan being mentioned in the Ten Commandments. This is before the Israelites ever received commandments at Sinai. As they were preparing to depart from Egypt, they were given this commandment. This month shall mark for you the beginning of the months. It shall be the first of the months of the year for you. That is the commandment, to mark this month of Nisan as the first month. Now, why is that so important? It's important because when you're a slave, you don't have control over your time. Having control over your time is a central indicator or marker of being free. The Israelites now are going to have this responsibility of building, as it were, their time, of making the best of their time, of using their time in ways that they are commanded to do and in ways that pursue justice and compassion. So this Shabbat, which always is either on the Shabbat just before Rosh Chodesh Nisan or on Rosh Chodesh Nisan itself, this is happening now. Rabbi Avraham Aryeh Trugman says, we commemorate this day when our people received our first mitzvah as a nation. This predates the Ten Commandments and all of the mitzvot to follow. And said, it's this month will be for you the beginning of the months. It will be for you the first of the months of the year. Fascinatingly, the first thing in the Torah that is described as holy, kadosh, is not a creature, is not a thing. It's time, it's Shabbat. We read that God blessed the Sabbath day and called it holy. And now we know, too, that the first mitzvah given to the Jewish people as they were on their way to being free directly relates to their mastery over time. I want each of us to remember that while we don't have the control over space that we used to, where we can go and when and with how many people, we can pay attention to time and we can mark it, maybe in new ways. We can use it for good with our newfound upendedness and lack of structure as we're soaring through midair, as I put it earlier. Maybe we can use this time in so many new ways. By not having our schedules set by schools and activities as usual, maybe we can deepen our connection to Shabbat time. Maybe we can take on the practice of lighting Shabbat candles or the ritual of Havdalah, which, by the way, we will mark together in community, virtual community, tomorrow night as well. And if Rabbi Schaefer or I can be of help to you in helping you bring these rituals into your home if they're not already a part of your practice, we're very happy to guide you through it virtually. So as we're all thinking about time and wondering how long, and all of us are, I think, trying to be present in the present moment, all that good mindfulness stuff, certainly all we can do is be in the present, but perhaps we can understand time in a whole new way and truly sanctify this time outside of time in which we dwell right now. Shabbat Shalom. So we're going to conclude our service. And we will turn, if you are following in the book, to Aleinu on page 282. Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula ליוצר בראשית, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת עוזו בגופי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Page 287. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו So usually at this point in our service, we share some announcements about upcoming events. So lest you think that there's nothing to share because the building is closed, au contraire, we have so much going on. In fact, possibly more going on than we did when we were in person. Excuse me, no, I don't know if anyone fed the dog. I feel very far from you, so I'm just going to pick up the tripod here. So I wanted to share with you a few things we have coming up. I hope that some of you have been able to already take advantage of some of our gatherings and classes that we've. I will tell you that coming up immediately tomorrow morning is Rabbi Schaefer's Torah study class from 10:30 to 11:30, and that is a Zoom platform. So I know that some folks were having trouble with Zoom, and we would love to help you. We don't want anyone to be left out. And so if it is not self-explanatory how to install that on your phone or computer, perhaps reach out to one of us and we'll let you know. So that's tomorrow morning at 10:30. Tomorrow at 7 o'clock, please join me back here in my house for Havdalah. We will say goodbye to Shabbat and enter into a new week together. Don't feel badly if you don't have a Havdalah set in your home. I can tell you, if you want to join us, if you have some grape juice or some wine on hand, if you have some sweet smelling spices, and if you have, if not a Havdalah candle, then you can take 2 candles together to join us for Havdalah tomorrow. Again, if you want help with any of that, we can help you, but you can join in virtually tomorrow night at 7. We have a lot else going on in the coming week. I had a wonderful gathering on last night, for those who were able to join us for a gathering of healing, of comfort and strength. I will be offering those on a more regular basis as well, for just sharing some poetry, some singing, some meditation. So stay tuned. Everything's on our website and in a message that was sent out today, and also a message that with even more detail that will be sent out on Sunday. We have all kinds of things for preschoolers, religious school kids, and everybody else as well. So I am going to invite those of us who are in mourning and saying Kaddish. What's amazing in this time is that even the conservative movement and those who are very strict about needing a full minyan for Kaddish are allowing a virtual minyan in this case to enable people to say Kaddish. So if you are reciting Mourner's Kaddish for somebody whom you have lost in recent days, or if you are reciting Kaddish because you're marking the anniversary of a death, if you would like to share the name virtually now, I welcome you to do that. I do want to mention in particular that the brother of Hugh Kaplan passed away this week, and we send our condolences to Hugh on the loss of his beloved brother. So if you'd like to just say the name to yourself as well, if you're reciting Kaddish for someone in particular, please do. And it's our custom at Ohabei Shalom to join together in Mourner's Kaddish, and we're on page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
V'yalma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael v'agala u'bizman pori v'imru Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach le'alam u'lalmei almaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudesha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechemata da'amiram v'yalma v'imru Amen. Yehi shlam Rabbah min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'imramav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. I'd like to invite us to sing, to make Kiddush and Motzi together. So if you want to do that with us, or whether you've done it already or we'll do it in a bit, going to invite any of my family members who would like to do that to come to the bima, such as it is at this time. And we'll say Kiddush and Motzi together on page 5. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho b'yahava uvratzon inchilanu zikaron le'maaseh v'reshit ki hu yom techila lemikra'ei kodesh ze B'Shabbat Kodecha B'Ahava Uv'Ratzon Hinchaltanu Baruch Atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. And now we'll make motzi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. I had a request for another shot of Coco the dog, who's very excited because challah is one of her favorite things. To be honest, though, we weren't able to get a challah, so this is a rustic loaf of some kind. So there's Coco. Coco, say Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
She loves Shabbat. She's confused about why it isn't actually challah this evening. So we're going to close, and again, I'm sorry, we went over time again, but not as badly as last week. We're going to close with Olam Chesed Yibaneh, and see if we have our guitar music for that. So, okay. Well, we'll sing it a cappella. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, da-da-dai, dai-dai, da-da-dai-dai. 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 I will build this world from love. Da-da-dai, dai-dai, da-da-dai-dai. And you must build this world from love. Da-da-dai, dai-dai, da-da-dai-dai. And if we build this world from love, da-da-dai, dai-dai, da-da-dai-dai, then God will build this world from love. Da-da-dai, dai-dai, da-da-dai-dai. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, 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 da-da-dai, dai-dai, da-dai-dai-dai. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I really do hope that you have a wonderful Shabbat, that you get outside, that you do some reading, do a puzzle, do some calling, that you haven't pet your animals, go out into nature. And I look forward to seeing you virtually either tomorrow night for Havdalah or another opportunity soon. And I hope those of you who are interested, you don't need any background, you don't need a chumash. Rabbi Schaefer will provide the sources for tomorrow morning at 10:30. Wow, Rabbi Berkman, the other Rabbi Berkman is really coming in handy. He's reminding me that we have meditation tomorrow morning also over Zoom before the Torah study offered by the wonderful Donna Rubinoff. So as you can see, we aren't going to let a little bit of physical distancing slow us down at all. I miss you, and I look forward to connecting again soon. Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.
Bye.
I'm here with Dr. Oz. He is the host of the Dr. Oz Show. He is a